Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have a lot of new subscribers lately, so you may not know a lot about me or who I am. So I am Haley, and I really like to read classic books, Christian fiction books, and I'm pretty picky on what I read as far as both the style of writing and the level of writing, and also with content. So if you're looking for content reviews, I'm always going to talk about the books that I read from a Christian worldview and from a biblical counseling perspective. So there's little things that will really bother me in books that maybe other people might not be so bothered about, but I'm thinking about who's reading this and what is the worldview and the morality that is being presented here. So that's kind of what this channel is about, just me sharing the books that I really like to read and the books that I really don't like reading, and just sharing that with you guys so we can chat about it. Today I'm going to do the quarter year crisis book tag. No one tagged me to do this, but I saw Lindsay from Books for Christian Girls. She did it because no one tagged her, so I decided I was just going to keep the trend up and do it. And I like kind of updating you guys on my reading as a whole. It is May now, so it's a little bit past quarter year, but this is still a fun tag to do. So starting out with the first question, how many books have you read so far? I've read 34. That puts me one book behind on my reading schedule, but I'm confident that I'm going to get it done. My goal is 100 books for this year, and I've read 34 so far. Question number 2, have you already found a book you think might be a 2024 favorite? If not, what was your favorite book you read that wasn't quite 5 stars? So I was looking through the only books that I have given 5 stars. Well, I gave one Christian fiction book a 5-star, but it wouldn't be my favorite book of the year. So the only ones that I've given 5 stars besides that were nonfiction books, but they do fit in 2 different categories. So the first one, actually I have that one in print. So this one is definitely, I think this one's my favorite so far in this entire year, just because I felt like it was so well done. It addressed so many good things, and it was very matter of fact. And if you've seen the video where I reviewed this, I showed you just like tons of the highlights and quotes that I loved in here. I love how practical it was, and it's definitely a book I will be referring back to and continuing to learn from. And then the other one that I feel like might be my favorite by the end of the year was The Mysterious Case of Rudolf Diesel. I talked about that in my last video. It's a nonfiction biographical book that's very like sciencey and historical, and just one of my favorite like subgenres of really important things in history that you might not be familiar with. So I really loved that one. So those were 2 that are my favorites so far this year. Question number 3, are there any 1-star books or least favorite books of the year? I have not read any 1-star books. I don't even know if I've DNF'd any books this year, but typically I don't give books 1 stars because I'm not even going to be picking up books like that. 1 star for me is just, I absolutely hate this book and it shouldn't even exist. But typically I don't pick up those kind of books. So I do have quite a few 2 stars. Those are books that maybe I had a little bit of doubt about, but I went ahead and read them, and then it was just really disappointing. But usually there's one factor to the book that I can appreciate, like whether it's good writing or maybe there was a good character or something. I'll usually give it 2 stars because then it's not totally awful. So anyways, the 2 of the books that have been like that this year were both like Christian fiction books. One was The Summer of Suspense. We tried reading this as a family, and it was just very cliche homeschool Christian fiction, and yeah, I just didn't like it at all. It was way too cheesy and unrealistic, but I did still end up giving it 2 stars. And then When the Ice Melts, I read this one last month. This was one that was sent to me for free a long time ago, and I was just really disappointed by like the theology in it, and thought it was just really silly. But the writing itself wasn't terrible. There was just a lot of like thinking for a long time, or like being in the person's mind, which I didn't really like. Anyways, it was only 2 stars and I wouldn't recommend it. The 4th question, what is my most read genre so far? For sure Christian fiction. I read in a lot of different genres. I've read like Christian living books, Christian fiction, nonfiction, classics, some contemporary fiction. I've read in all those different categories, but Christian fiction is the easiest one for me to go to and just be able to read a quick book, and I typically end up reading those faster. So then it adds up to be the majority of the books that I read. I think like at least half the ones I've read so far this year have been in that category. And then I don't even know what the second category would be, because I think I've only finished like 1 classic so far and only like 2 Christian living books, maybe 3. Maybe that would be the second category. Question number 5, a book that surprised you. So 2 of these are books that surprised me in a good way, and 1 is a book that surprised me in a bad way. Page Torn, the Paige Alder series by Erin Mangum. I had heard really good things about this series from Lindsay, but since I don't typically love a lot of Christian fiction and I'm used to reading classics, I kind of don't expect a lot out of Christian fiction, so I was pleasantly surprised reading this and just how clean it was, how fun it was, and just well written and actually relatable. So that was something that I thought would be good, but I didn't think it would be that good. So I was really excited about that series. And then another one that surprised me in a good way was The Treasure of Secret Cove. This was a lamplighter book that we read as a family, and being written in the 1800s and being a lamplighter, I figured it would be pretty good, but I definitely didn't expect to be like crying and to have so many like conversion stories and truth that just sticks in my mind even way after I finished it. So I definitely was really surprised by that. And then something I was surprised like in a bad way was Catherine the Great. I actually have that one. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Catherine the Great by Robert Massey. I expected this to be like a really good biography. It is one of the best, I think, on her life, but I think I was just really surprised by the way that she lived her life and just very immoral, and I was really disappointed in this book. I thought I was going to learn about this really cool ruler, and I was very disappointed by the way that she lived her life, and even the way it was written I didn't particularly like, so that was one that surprised me in a not so good way. Question number 6, a book that's come out in 2024 already that you want to read but haven't. Oh, already come out. Okay, so that would cut out one of these books that hasn't actually come out yet. One that I actually have that came out this year is Really Very Crunchy by Emily Morrow. I follow her on Instagram and she's really fun, but this book looks exciting because the subtitle is A Beginner's Guide to Removing Toxins from Your Life Without Adding Them to Your Personality. So I'm excited to see what she says about just having that balanced approach. And then also I know she has like a lot of funny stories in here and tips and tricks for being crunchy, so I'm really excited for this one. And then also The Elusive Truth of Lily Temple by Johanna Davidson Politano. This was another recommendation from Lindsay, and I was watching one of her videos, and I don't know, it just looks like a really fun book, so I'm kind of scared to read it because I've read a couple of Politano's other books and didn't really love them, but this one looks exciting and the cover is really pretty, so maybe I'll enjoy that one. And then another one that's been published this year that I just recently learned about is Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose, and this one's by Christy Cole, I think, and she's another Christian booktuber that I just learned about. And this looks interesting. I'm not super big into fantasy, but Tabitha Gabrielle, she gave it a really good review and it made me really interested in it, so I want to try it out. Kind of scared to see what I think, but I think it's really cool to see people writing good books these days. All right, question number 7. What is one goal you made that you're succeeding at? So I did try to set like 4 different goals this year, well, I guess 5. Like my overall, the amount of books I read, and then the number of pages I read, and then I did like some mini goals to make sure I knocked out 12 different classics, 12 different Christian like living books, and then 12 different just like Christian fiction or contemporary fiction that I've had on my list and I wanted to make sure I got done this year. So the one that I'm doing really well at is the fiction one, even though I actually haven't read all the ones that I had as goals so far this year, but I think I will definitely get through all of those. And then question number 8 is one goal you made that you need to focus on, and that would definitely be the classics, because I started out January, I was supposed to read Silmarillion, and I'm not even halfway through that. I did finish Far from the Madding Crowd, and I'm working on Anne of Green Gables, but I definitely need to pick up the pace on the classics. And then the last question, what are some new to you booktubers for 2024 that you recommend? I'm pretty terrible at watching other booktubers, but I recently have found a couple that I've watched just a couple other videos. I've already mentioned them both. Tabitha Gabrielle, I just really like her like attitude, and seeing her sister in her videos, and Tennessee is just so beautiful, so I love like watching that. And then Christy A. Cole, I've only watched like one of her videos, but she's the one who did the book I just talked about, Ariadne, and I look forward to like following her stuff. Those are just 2 YouTubers that I just recently started following. So there's my answers to the quarter year crisis book tag. I guess if I was going to tag people, let's see. Who would I tag? I would definitely tag Tabitha to do it. I know Lindsay has already done it, obviously. I can tag Chantel also. But if you guys haven't done this video yet and you would like to do it, then I would love to see your answers to all of these questions. Thank you guys all for watching this video. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps other people to find my videos and to help support me. And also, any of the books that I mentioned will be down in the description below. And if you purchase through those links, it does help me as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you back here next week. Bye.